Hey everybody, this is my preview of the 2023 Kansas State football season. So here it goes. First up, I want to go over the roster depth chart. So here it goes. For the quarterbacks, I think the quarterback position is good. The key loss for the quarterbacks is Adrian Martinez. I wish him luck. Uh, for the starter, I have Will Howard as a starter with Jake Rubley and Avery Johnson battling for second and third string. So the quarterback room is pretty good in my opinion. The running backs, the key loss for the running back room is Deuce Vaughn. I wish him luck. I think DJ Giddens DJ Giddens and Treshad Ward, a transfer from Florida State, will get good equal playing time this year with a running back by committee kind of thing. I think they will get decent. Both will get decent amount of playing time. So I think the running back take a step back this year from last year, but I think the running back room is pretty good. The receivers, key losses for the receiving room for this year is Malik Knowles and Cade Warner. Those are the two big losses for the receiving room. Phillip Brooks returns as receiver number one. And I think R.J. Garcia and Keegan Johnson, a transfer from Iowa, will round up the number 2 and number 3 receivers, with Seth Porter, Jaden Jackson, and Sterling Lockett make round the 4, 5, and 6 receivers. So I think the receivers take a step back from that. Take a step back from last year, but I think the receiving room, the receivers are pretty good this year. I think the tight ends, a key loss for the tight ends is Sammy Wheeler, but Ben Sinnott returns as tight end, and I think the tight ends are in a good spot right now. The offensive line. The offensive line, in my opinion, is the best unit on the offense. They returned every starter from last year. For center, I got Hayden Gillum. For right guard, I got Haley Panzer as the starter, with Taylor Poitier as the backup. And both men had playing time last year. But Taylor Poitier had one start, but missed most of the season last year with an injury. But I got Haley Panzer as the starter, though. Left guard, I got Cooper Beebe. For right tackle, I got Christian Duffy. But I've seen that Christian Duffy has an injury, and he's questionable. He could miss no. He could not miss any games, or I've seen that he might not miss any games, but he might miss 1, 2, or all of the non-conference games. But he's questionable. But as a backup, I got Carver Willis as the backup, and he might fit well as a starter until I think he'll make a good backup for Christian Duffy. But I think he'll fit in if he needs to very well. And for left tackle, I got KT Levistan as the starter for left tackle. But his backup will be Camden Beebe, the brother of Cooper Beebe. So overall, the offensive line is the strongest unit on the offense, in my opinion. So that's for the offense. For the defense, for the defensive line, The defensive line, I think, be okay, but I think they take a step back from last year. For the defensive ends, I got Brendan Mott and Khalid Duke, who's moving back to defensive end from linebacker. So for the backups, I got Cody Stuffle, Bean, and Nate Matlock as the backups. For the nose guard, I got Uso Seumalo, a JUCO transfer, and as a backup, I got Javon Banks, a transfer from Mississippi State. And the key losses for the defensive line is Felix Enudike Uzama and Eli Huggins. Those two guys will be extremely missed, and good luck to them. For the linebackers, I think the linebackers took a step back from last year. Key losses for linebackers is Drake Cheatham and Nick Allen, and also Khalid Duke, who moved back to defensive end. For the strong side linebacker, I got Desmond Purnell. For the weak side linebacker, I got Austin Moore. For the middle linebacker, I got Daniel Green, who I think is the best linebacker in the unit. And for the jack position, I got VJ Payne. And for the secondary defensive backs, I think the defensive backs, secondary, whatever you want to call it, is to take the most step backs. I think they're only returning one starter from last year and one starter from last year. The key losses for the secondary are Julius Brents, Iko Boydo, and Josh Hayes. Good luck to them. For the cornerbacks, I got Jacob Parrish and Will Lee, a JUCO transfer. For the strong safety, I got Kobe Savage, the only starter to return this year. And for free safety, I got Marquis Siegel, a transfer in from North Dakota State. Like I said, this will be the weakest unit this year, but I think will be good. I think they'll be decently good this year, though. And for the special teams, for the kicker, I got Chris Tennant, and for the punter, I got Jack Blummer. And key loss is Ty Zentner. For the schedule, I think KT will do good this year. For the non-conference, I think that this is a manageable non-conference schedule. Our first game is against Southeast Missouri on September 2nd. I think this will be an easy win, should be an easy win, and I think this will be a big win with a big result. I don't think it'll be close, so I think K-State will beat Southeast Missouri. Then we play Troy on September 9th. I think this is the toughest team on the non-conference. Troy was good last year, and I think they'll be good this year. And I think this will be a close game, but I think K-State will beat Troy. Next up, K-State goes to Missouri on September 16th. Missouri's been average to below average the last several years. I think Missouri will be average this year, and I think K-State's better than Missouri this year. So I think K-State will beat Missouri at Missouri by at least 2 scores. Then K-State opens up conference play with Central Florida on September 23rd. Central Florida is a good team, in my opinion. I think this will be close, but I think K-State will beat Central Florida. Then we got a bye. Then after the bye, K-State goes to Stillwater to play Oklahoma State on October 6th, which is a Friday. K-State hasn't done very well in Stillwater this century. K-State has only won in Stillwater once this century, and that was several years ago. I think like 2017, around there. But I think K-State's better than Oklahoma State this year. But since our not so good like in Stillwater, I think Oklahoma State will beat K-State this year. So I think K-State will lose to Oklahoma State. Then K-State goes to Lubbock to play Texas Tech on October 14th. Texas Tech has been good. I think they'll be good this year. But since 2011, I think around 2011, K-State has Texas Tech's number. I think we'll continue to having Texas Tech's number, and I think K-State will beat Texas Tech in Lubbock. Next, K-State will play TCU on October 21st. TCU, I think they're a good team, will be a good team, but I don't think they will be as good as they were last year. I think they will take a few steps back this year, and I think K-State will get revenge for last year's regular season loss, and I think K-State will beat TCU this year. Next, K-State will play Houston on October 28th. Houston's been pretty good lately. They haven't been great the last few years, though, but been pretty good, decently good. But I think K-State's better than Houston. So I think K-State will beat Houston this year. Then on November 4th, K-State goes to Texas to play Texas. Goes to Austin to play Texas. I think K-State, Texas has the better talent on all that, but I think K-State will go into Austin and end the 6-game losing streak and finally beat Texas as they leave the conference. So I think K-State will beat Texas. Then on Veterans Day, November 11th, K-State plays Baylor, and this will be the Fort Riley Day. Baylor, I think, will be a little bit better than they were last year, but I think K-State's still better than Baylor, and I think K-State will beat Baylor. Then on November 18th, K-State will play at Kansas, and I've seen a few comments here and there on the YouTube that saying, "Oh, KU will finally beat K-State and all that." I'm respectfully saying, rebooting that and saying, KU, they have improved, but I don't think they're over the hump yet, and I think K-State's still better than KU. I think KU will have a winning season this year, a really good year this year, but K-State is still a whole lot better than KU, so I have K-State beating Kansas for the 15th straight time. And for the final game of the year, on November 25th, K-State plays Iowa State. Iowa State, I think, will be a little better than they were last year, but by now a whole lot, in my opinion. Last year's game was really close, 10-9, I think. I know we won by 1. I think it was 10-9, really close. And lately, Iowa State and K-State has been a really close game, and I think this will be another close game. And I think K-State will beat Iowa State again this year in a close game. So overall, I think K-State will go 11-1 with an 8-1 conference record. And I think we'll make it back to the conference championship game, playing whoever also makes it. So those are my predictions for this year. Go State and EMA.